Hi, it's K-Bar user again. How y'all doing? Well, I'm back. I'd like to do some shout-out videos. I've seen Ruger Dude 3 do it, and it's a really nice setup where you just thanks the subscribers, and I've done that. But shout-outs, I've come across a few smaller channels with some really good stuff on them. So I've got 3 or 4 of them to go through here, so I'm just going to do them real quick. First one would be Back to Nature 78. It's Back to Nature 78. Second one would be The Handler. It's capital T-H-E, capital H-A-N-D-L-E-R 187. The Handler 187. The third one would be Fire Lion 49. It's Fire Lion 49. Back to Nature 78. It's got a lot of bushcrafting, camping, survival videos. Great stuff on there. Really good stuff. And Handler 187, same deal. He's a young guy. He's got a lot of good stuff out there. And you know, they're small channels. I'm not saying that the big channels don't need support too, but you know, the smaller ones do also. And who knows, they might have tips that you could pick up on easier than say you know, somebody else's videos. You can always learn from other people a lot faster if you can connect with them than you can from other channels that you just can't figure out what they're talking about half the time. Now, as far as anything else is concerned, like I said in my last video, I'm going to be testing new gear and stuff, new knives. I've come across some things that it didn't bother me when I was younger, and now it does. For instance, I used to carry a 6-inch revolver with me. 6-inch barrel, that is. Every time I sat down on the ground, sat down on a rock or a stump, the holster would hit, it'd right up, poke me in the ribs, whatever. This last 10 years I've been carrying my SP-101, I haven't had that problem. As far as shooting them, I haven't seen much difference in accuracy or velocity. So, yeah, I'm sticking to the 357 SP-101. When I was younger, I used to carry big bladed survival knives, 9, 10, 12-inch sometimes. They come in handy for chopping and whatnot, and I have a Swiss Army knife with me, that was my little task knife. And then I also had like a double-edged fighting knife. It was just a military mindset left over. So, the big bladed survival knives, same deal. Every time you sit down, they're sticking in something, they're moving around, you really can't handle them all that well. Then I ran into like these, this K-Bar Shorty, and this little Strider that I keep in my pack, and my Jeff White knives. They're all typically around 5-inch bladed knives. They basically stay out of your way. And that's a great thing, trust me. I've tried neck knives. I don't like having anything hanging around my neck that get hung up on trees, choke you. I don't like neck knives. I don't like boot knives you stuff in your boot, especially with them clips. Now you rub up against a tree, slide down on a rock, the knife pops off your boot, and you're not really looking for it, feeling it. All of a sudden you don't have a knife. So when I do carry this in my boot, I generally have a strap that goes around my leg. Nice flock of crows. So that's a couple of things. Rifles and guns, rifles and shotguns, stuff like that. I mean, they're generally, you're used to carrying them. They don't really get in the way that much. Up until I carried a coach gun, I realized how much easier it is. It's not mine, it was a friend of mine. How much easier it was to move them barrels through the woods. So it'd be a liking to, say, either an M16 or a full-size AR-15 compared to, say, an M4 or an AR-15 carbine. They're just much easier to handle in the woods. So there's little things like that that's really starting to, I don't know if it comes with age or what, but it's starting to bug me that, you know, I sit down and I get poked in the ribs. And even carrying ammo. I used to carry my ammo on a strip in the back of my belt that was, what would you call it? It was an ammo strip. You put bullets in the little holders. I get up one day, I carry 15 rounds, I only have 13. The other 2 rounds are laying in the woods somewhere. So now I went to speed loaders. I carry a triple speed loader on my belt. I've got enough bullets, I don't have to worry about it. It's convenience. Convenience can make all the difference between having a nice day out, having a nice night out, or really working at what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with hard work at what you're doing. But if you're, you want to spend a night in the bush, or you just want to, or spend the weekend in the bush and just relax and do the things you love to do, everything starts getting in the way. It's a pain in the butt. Even hunting, I used to carry a big bladed survival knife to hunt squirrels. It comes in real good to chop their heads off, feet and whatnot. Beautiful for that. And I don't advocate the use of batoning, but with the little knife, I mean, you can take a little stick and, punk, and it's not damaging the knife or not hitting it hard enough to do any damage to it, and it's done. Or carry a small hatchet with you. I've seen some tomahawk heads out there that's only 1.5 inches, 2 inches long. They call them mini hawks. That I think would work great. But it's just some things getting on my nerves with all my gear. Another thing getting on my nerves with all my gear is the fact that I like the old woodsmanship ways. Not so much the mountain man type, dressed in fur, flintlock type stuff. I love that too, but in so much as the fact of, instead of hunting in camos all the time, there's a million different patterns of camo. What's wrong with just plain natural earth tones like I used to hunt with? I used to hunt in brown or green, or gray sometimes, dark gray. And I shot just as many animals as I do camoed. Same thing with the knives. I mean, that 9-inch bladed survival knife, it was nice. It's a beautiful knife. It's well balanced. I still have it. But it's, it's just too much. Now on my hunting belt, I went back to using my 410. I have a 410 22 combo gun. I'll do a review over the winter of it. It's not a Henry, it's an old Savage 24. I also have one on 22 mag 20 gauge. I went back to using that again. I don't need to shoot 50 yards to kill something with a shotgun. If it's going to be a self-defense weapon, you're at night, you're in camp, yeah, I understand the 12 gauge mentality. But I have a 22 I can shoot out to 30, 40 yards with. I have a shotgun I can shoot out to 20, 25, 20, 30 yards tops with my 410. I kill everything with that gun. I've had it for 25 years. I've shot pheasants, turkeys, squirrels, you name it. And so I went back to using that. I went back to using a folding blade for hunting. I went back to carrying a pocket knife with me. I went back to doing a lot of things. But anyway, getting back to the old ways. I really enjoy that. I think that's where my heart lies. But I am military trained, and it seems as though most of that stuff, like the Boy Scout pack with the busted straps, unless you spend a lot of money. If you're 20 years old, you buy a Duluth pack for $300, it's going to last you until your grandkids and your great-grandkids are around. If you're my age, which is just shy of over the hill, I'm not going to be doing maybe another 5-6 years of, packing crap in for half a mile. My physical health might not allow me to do that in 5 years. So I'm getting back to the old ways. But the military stuff works. It's durable, it holds up, and with this whole bushcrafting thing, it's not a fashion show. Some people think it is. I've seen videos where people actually have to match everything they own to go bushcrafting. I don't have to match anything. I have to take what works with me. What works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me, but I got to find out what's going to work for me, and I know what works for me. I've been doing it for years. I just got into gear mentality. Once you get into gear mentality, you've got to have the latest, the greatest, the best, everything. When in actuality, the old stuff that you had worked just as good as the new stuff. I recently bought a sterno. Well, they call it a sterno stove, but it's a square box now with a grate on top. I tried it a couple times. It works really good. Does it work any better than the old folding wing stove I have? No. Gives you a hotter flame, might cook things faster, but the other thing, it took hexamine bars, and I can load it up with little sticks and stuff too. It's made out of stainless steel. I've been using it since 1982. It works. Same thing with my pot system. I've got a pot system. It's 2 pots fit together, and you put stuff in there. That I've owned since 1985. I have a solo pot I've owned since, 1990. They work. I know your kit's got to upgrade constantly. But once in a while, you really got to think about what you had to start with. That nobody told you it was better out there. You just had this to start with. That worked for you then, it'll still work for you now. And once you get into this gear mentality, which I've been into, I noticed that my room, man cave, whatever you want to call it, has gone from a very organized, nice, roomy room to a room full of packs, gear, you name it. It's all over the place. No matter how I try to organize it, it's just a cluttered mess. So with that being said, here's what I'm going to do. Once I get my gear tested, and I figure out exactly what I'm going to use, that's going to be my gear. If it works for me for a 72-hour period today, it's going to work tomorrow if I get lost. Same thing with your gear. If it works for you today for 72 hours, if you get lost, it's going to work for you then. As long as, of course, you keep it up, and take care of it. So once I get my gear settled, and I know what I'm going to use, everything else that I have is going to be up for grabs. This is where you come in. If you're a subscriber of mine, once I get my gear tested, and it might take a month or two to do that, but if you are a viewable subscriber, what I mean by that is I can see you on my subscriber list. If there's something you need that I have, if there's something you want that I have, something you've been looking for that I have, you're more than welcome to it. Just PM me. That's it. If you're a beginner bushcrafter, I mean a beginner, let me know. I'll send you an entire kit if I have it. If you're a novice, or not a novice, but if you're an advanced bushcrafter and just say like this K-Bar Shorty. But Andy gave me the trade with this. He also sent me the Kydex sheath that goes with this. I use leather. And Andy, nothing against you, man. But I use leather, and that's what I use. I don't like Kydex, and I don't use it. Or Cordura. But I always make sure I put a liner in there out of a soda bottle. Cut it to fit, put it in the case. You don't have to worry about it. So even like with this, I know I'll never use that Kydex sheath. So, you know, if you are looking for a Kydex sheath for your K-Bar Shorty, PM me. I'll let you know if I'm going to send it or not. Because I know I'm going to get multiple PMs. So, you know, in that case, I'll just throw them all in a hat, pick them up, pick them out, whoever wants to whatever. But if you're a beginner, I've got water bottles, I've got all kind of happy stuff, packs, whatnot. If you're a beginner and you need gear, let me know. And that also goes for all the camo I have. I probably have 6 pairs of camo. Excuse me. I bought 3 pairs of painter's pants. And I'm going to dye them brown. A friend of mine said they can get me some black wallets because we don't have any around here. But once I dye them up, I might just be getting rid of my camos too. Because there's really no sense of having all the gear that lays in bags and lays in the corner and never gets used if there's somebody out there who can really use it. I've got my grandkids stuff put away. I've got, you know, all the stuff put away for my family's use. And there's still a ton of gear laying around. So if you need it, call me, PM me. PM me and get my phone number. I'll give you my phone number. You can call me if you need the gear. So that's the end of this video. I'm K-Bar User. My name is Tom, by the way. We've never been formally introduced. My name is Tom Ritter. I'm K-Bar User. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. In the meantime, I want to thank you for your time and thank you for your patience. And you all have a good year.